also the disinhibited self. People reveal so much of their mental processes online, simply because the psychological effect of anonymity just means that a whole raft of inhibitions is left alone when people log on, according to Joanne Harris. So, this inhibition is defined as a substantial difficulty in regulating one's affect, urges, and impulses, often characterized by a lack of planfulness and a tendency toward immediate gratification. It is associated with behaviors such as impulsiveness, irresponsibility, and difficulties with substance use. In face-to-face interaction, we often hold back on things we really want to say or do for fear or leaving a negative impression. Also, we abide by a set of decorum in such situations because we are careful not to paint a wrong portrait of who we are. Impression management is what Irving Goffman calls this in the early parts of this chapter, but in the cyberspace, this might not be the case. For John Suller, 2004, such restrictions to behavior do not necessarily apply online. Unlike real-life encounters, individuals tend to act out more intensely and openly in virtual interactions. This is in large part attributed to the mediated nature of online communication, plus the protective veils their identities are promised when taking part in it, or anonymity and pseudonymity. This phenomenon is what he calls the online disinhibition effect, or the removal of social inhibitions and or restrictions imposed upon people's behavior when engaging in the web. He further explains that there are two main categories of behavior that fall under the above mentioned effect: benign disinhibition and toxic disinhibition. Benign disinhibition is basically the relatively positive side of the said effect. Primarily, this focuses on personal development, self-understanding, and exploration of new emotional domains of experience in the virtual world. In other words, this is the digital equivalent to self-actualization or the act of working through one's identity. And that toxic disinhibition naman is on the other hand, sits on the opposite end. If benign disinhibition is centered on online venues that encourage emotional growth and positive self-disclosure, this second category zeroes in on disparaging remarks, death threats, blackmails, and hate slurs, among others, that a user may relish in. It may also pertain to anonymous consumption of other pornography. Keep in mind that there's no clear demarcating line that truly separates these two categories. As an online encounter might start benign enough only to escalate into something toxic or vice versa. So, an ordinary enough online relationship between two users, for instance, might become toxic if one of them crudely brings up sex, or a very rowdy comment section might be normal to some users because being very upfront is valued where they came from. Online disinhibition, the causes. Additionally, John Soller posits 6 factors that often cause online disinhibition. They are follows. First, dissociative anonymity, or people don't know me. This is the confidence you feel every time you anonymously engage in online activities, because you can easily disassociate your online identities from your offline ones. You can be relatively carefree or careless even in your virtual behavior, resulting in a more unfiltered, even harmful. Arguing online in the comments sections, for example, emboldens to use profanities and even hate slurs because none of them really knows you personally. And second is invisibility. People can't see me. In this factor, you can sometimes intentionally misrepresent yourself to come across as an entirely different person. Unlike in real conversations, invisibility enables you to alter or virtual avatars' personality and even appearance, sometimes to lure attractive people into taking notice of you, or just to generally avoid scrutiny when you participate online. In hiding your true physical and personal attributes away, you are effectively freeing yourself up from the baggage of having to present your as you truly are. Third is synchronicity or see you when I see you. Time is very important element in face-to-face communications. This is why meetings at work are scheduled based on the attendees' availability. Conversely, you have the luxury of time delay in the virtual world. Every time you send an email or even a message on Facebook, time is in your side. You can compose, structure, and edit in a span of several minutes, sometimes an hour or even more. Even your posts in online forums can be made to be read smarter than they are originally. Thanks, thanks to web references you can access in an instant. Another plus is that you do not even need to be physically present in your virtual engagements. In effect, this makes you more relaxed in dealing with people online, with the pressures of real-world communication removed completely. Fourth is solipsistic in interjection. It's all in the mind. We essentially communicate online through typewritten words. Verbal cues, though ever present, are not the accepted norm in interacting virtually. In this regard, you unconsciously recite in your head both the messages you send and those deployed your way. So fifth is dissociative imagination, or it's all a play. Simply put, this is the faulty belief that online interaction is a game, and whose rules you can easily break with no perceived implications, buoyed by the assumption that your real-life identity and digital avatars are separate entities, and that the cyberspace is but an outlet for space, or like movies. You sometimes resort to doing unspeakable things you normally wouldn't in real life. This notion often rationalizes criminal behavior online, particularly identity theft or even sexual harassment. Sixth is minimization of status and authority, or your roles. Your rules don't work online. Have you ever stumbled upon one of your professor's Facebook profiles and it suddenly occurred to you how powerless he or she seems to look? If yes, then this is because the internet, more than just providing users a disinhibited space, levels the playing field, with no one personality having an anonymous clout over others. Perhaps your professor, or even a politician for that matter, is influential outside the realm of the cyberspace, but within it, he or she, along with a great many, still belong under the same classification. Take notice how complete nobody suddenly have the guts to engage influential people in arguments on social media. Online, people are perceived to be equals.